Today we're going to talk about the law of sines and the law of cosines. So the law of sines is represented by this equation. The sine of A over A is equal to the sine of B over B is equal to the sine of C over C. So this is actually an extended proportion. Capital A, B, and C are representing the angles. Then the lowercase letters are representing the sides across from those angles. So angle A is across from side A, angle C is across from side C, and angle B is across from side B. Capital letters are always going to stand for angles, and lowercase letters are always going to stand for sides. Use the law of sines only when you do not have a right triangle and you know an angle and its opposite side. So notice that this triangle is not right. If you have a right triangle, you're going to want to use your trig functions. Let's do some problems. Use the law of sines to find each missing angle or side. Round any decimals answers to the nearest tenth. So that's to one place. So looking at this, we want to figure out what we have. I know angle B right here, and I know side B. I don't know angle C, but I know side C. So we want to find all of the missing information, which is going to be side A, angle C, and angle A. First, let's fill in what we know. I do not know the sine of A or side A. This is going to be the sine of 63 over 42 and the sine of C over 29. Now, we can use any two of these fractions to figure out a missing piece of information. Notice that when you're looking at this second part, I only have one piece of missing information, and that's the sine of C. So I'm going to use this proportion to find the sine of C. So I'm going to have the sine of 63 over 42 is equal to the sine of C over 29. So you're going to cross multiply. You get 29 times the sine of 63 is equal to 42 times the sine of C, and then you divide. We divide by 42 on both sides. Now what I'm going to need to do is figure out what 29 times the sine of 63 divided by 42 is equal to. Make sure when you enter this in your calculator that you do 29 times the sine of 63 equals, then divide by 42. I got that the sine of C is equal to 0.6152 and so on. But we want to find what C is, and that's an angle, so we need to do sine inverse to find that angle. So I'm going to do the sine inverse of 0.6152, and I'm going to get 37.9, which will round to 38 degrees. So I found that C is 38 degrees. Now I can easily find A because all I need to do is subtract 63 and 38. So 180 minus 63 minus 38 is equal to 79. And then now I need to set up a proportion to find out what A side is, like the side we have missing right here. So we have the sine of A is the sine of 79 over A is equal to the sine of B, so the sine of 63 over 42. Now I can use the first half of my extended proportion. I cross multiply, you get 42 times the sine of 79 is equal to a times the sine of 63. I ran out of space. Then I want to get a by itself, so we're going to divide by the sine of 63 on both sides. So that crosses out. And you're going to press in your calculator 42 times the sine of 79 equals divided by the sine of 63. And we get that A is equal to 46.3. It was 46.27, blah, 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 and then you need to round it. So now we're going to do another example. Let's fill in what we know. Obviously, we don't have A, B, and C in this triangle. We have S, R, and T. So this will be angle R. This will be angle S. Feel free to change these if you want to. We can make this R, S, and T. This will be side R, side S, side T. So the sine of R is going to be the sine of 40 over side R is equal to the sine of S, which is 89, over S is equal to the sine of T, which we don't know, over 4.8. So if you look right here, right now in all three of our ratios, we have missing information. We're missing side R, we're missing side S, and we're missing angle T. We can actually find angle T. All you need to do is subtract 40 and 89 from 180. And you get 51. So we can actually change this to the sine of 51. Now, I know this proportion, or this ratio, and I can set it equal to either of these. I'm going to set it equal to the sine of 89 over S first. So I cross multiply, and you're going to get 4.8 sine of 89 is equal to S times the sine of 51. We want to get S by itself, so we're going to divide by the sine of 51. And then we will enter this into our calculator. 4.8 times the sine of 89 equals divided by the sine of 51. And we get 6.2 whenever you round. So we found S. Now all we have left is to find R. So I'm now going to set this ratio and this ratio equal. Whenever you cross multiply, you will get 4.8 times the sine of 40 is equal to R times the sine of 51. So all I did was cross multiply from here and here. I divide by the sine of 51 to get R by itself. And then we're going to press in our calculator. 4.8 times the sine of 40 equals divided by the sine of 51. And we're going to get that R is equal to 3.97, which is going to round to 4. So I'm going to let R equal 4.